What's going on, people? Got another batch or two of Hearthstone preview cards that we're showing off, so I'm gonna be looking at that from what I think are the worst to the best. I didn't do one for the last one that they released, so this is 2-in-1. So there's more cards. Will probably take a little longer. Just a heads up. So let's start with the first one on the list that I think is the worst. It will see no play. This card is a 6 mana 3/4 Battlecry. Discover a spell that costs 5 or more. Arcane Dynamo. Now, I don't think this card is going to see any play for any reason, really. 6 mana is too expensive for this 3/4 body. Discovering a spell that costs 5 or more. Those are probably pretty good spells, but I don't see how you can justify this myself. So I don't think this card's going to see any play. Next card we got here, Shooting Star. 1 mana, deal 1 damage to a minion and the minions next to it. This isn't a bad card, but if you want this effect, you might as well just play Arcane Explosion and deal 2 to everything. In my opinion, you'd rather have that than this, simply because this isn't a great spell by itself, and in the circumstances where you'd want a whirlwind effect, you might as well have the better one that takes care of their whole board. Next we got Volcanic Burst. 1 mana, summon 2/1/1 Sparks with Rush, Overload 1. Even though I think this card by itself is worse than even the last one, but this one is a Shaman card, and because of that you can combo with I forgot the totem right now. It's the totem that gives like +2 attack, so that makes this a 2/3/1s. That's pretty good. Shamans can combo with Overload, so that's pretty good. You can combo this with buffs, and these minions can stick around, so that's, in my opinion, better. And I wouldn't be surprised if this sees some play somewhere. Next we have Replicating Menace. 4 mana 3/1. Not sure this card's very good. I really don't think so, but it is a mech, and there is a mech specific keyword, and you might be needing mechs. Let's throw it up here, the magnetic keyword. 4 mana 3/1 mech, magnetic, death rattle, summon 3 1/1 microbots. Those are going to be mechs. So, I really don't think you're going to be playing this card unless you really need mechs. And I don't think I could justify this card in my deck. Next we have 6 mana 2/5 Mech, Security Rover. This is a warrior class card. Whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 2/3 mech with taunt. I don't like this card that much. Yeah, you can combo it and get multiple mechs out, but you can only do that 3 times without killing one of your mechs that you just made. I would just rather have Hogger in my deck if I was gonna do this. I really don't think this card's that good. The mech on it is decent just because you can magnetize it into a better card. That might make it worth it, but I don't think I'll ever put this in my deck unless somebody decides it's really broken and figures out a way that I cannot see. I highly doubt it though. Next card, 4 mana 4/3 elemental, spell damage +2. This is a mage class card. I have this card ranked ahead of all those because it's spell damage, which we have seen cards that combo off of spell damage. Spell damage is obviously pretty good by itself, and it's an elemental, and there are elemental mage decks. You can put lifesteal on this. That's not bad with the Jaina card, so I think this card's pretty good. I won't be surprised if somebody throws it in a deck, but who knows. Next, 5 mana Power Word Replicate. There's a priest card. Choose a friendly minion, summon a 5/5 copy of it. This card's not bad, but it's pretty expensive for what it's doing. There are some priest cards that allow you to yank out a few 1/1s, and that would be something that you would want to use this on. Obviously, if you get the turn pass to you and you still have a nice minion on the board, this is going to do something for you, but I really don't like cards like this that you already need a good minion on the board, and this says your good minion had to have cost 5 or less basically for you to use on the same turn, and therefore you need them to pass you the turn back without killing your monster that you put on the field. Therefore this is just a win more card, and I don't know, not interested in that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure this will see much play. I really don't think so. I'd rather just let my thing die and then bring it back to life with one of the other cards that priests have available. Next we have a rogue card. At least I believe this is a rogue card. I can't see the color combo, but if it's not, that would be something for other classes, but I'm pretty sure it's a rogue card. 3 mana, 3/2 Death Rattle. Trigger the Death Rattle of a random friendly minion. I don't really like this card. Main reason. 3 mana for a 3/2 weapon is, in my opinion, not good enough. And if I want a weapon in Rogue, I'm just going to play the one that gets more durability for every card that I played from another class, or I'm going to play King's Bane. And in my opinion, those are two better cards. You can set this up to trigger a Death Rattle for yourself, and that's pretty nice value, but I just don't like this card that much. Next, we got a legendary priest card, 6 mana, 5/5, Death Rattle. If you cast any spell on this minion, resummon it. So basically, if you've cast Power Word Shield on this card when it was out there, and this dies, once it dies it resummons, and then you can cast another thing on it, and keep it back and back and back and back. It's a very slow card. It can be silenced. It's only 5/5 for 6 mana. It's not bad. I don't think that you're going to be playing this in your decks. I think that priests have more powerful things to do, but at the same time, Death Rattle Priest is something I'm looking at trying out, and this is a Death Rattle card, so maybe. Especially if you can pull it out with something that pulls out Death Rattles from your deck into the field, which I know that priests have. And then you get a 1/1 copy of this on the battlefield. Then you Power Word Shield that and bring it back to life as a 5/5. That's pretty good value, so yeah, I think this card has some hope to see play. Next, 4 mana, 3/5 Elemental is a Shaman class card. After you play a card with Overload, summon 2 1/1 Sparks with Rush. I think this card's pretty dang powerful. There's a lot of things in Shaman with Overload. A lot of their board clears have Overload. You can play this with Lightning, Lightning Strike or whatever that card is. That board clears their side of the field for 2 to 3 damage. And then you have another 1/1 to help finish off whatever survived. So I think this is a pretty good card. I think it'll see play. The stats on it are nice. 4 mana for a 3/5 is pretty nice. So won't be surprised if this sees play. Next, I'm not sure this card's better than the last one, but in my opinion, I like it better. It combos with things I like to do. It's more fun. It's a more fun card. 3 mana, 3/4 Beast. Whenever you shuffle a card into your deck, shuffle an extra copy. And if you need some help on what you could be throwing extra copies in, bam! This is what I'm thinking about. Teldery Strider, Battle Cry, shuffle 3 ambushes into your deck. That's an extra 3 ambushes into your deck as a rogue. That's pretty nice. You can have some crazy turns going on if you do these two things. And they're back to back, so 3 on 3 you play this elk, on 4 you play the strider, bam, you're in the money. That's pretty crazy, so that's just something I'm interested in doing. Not sure how many people are going to be using this, but 3 mana for a 3/4, it's already pretty good stats, so you're not really hurting yourself by playing this card. Next we got a Druid card. 4 mana, draw a 7, 8, 9, and 10 cost minion. That's a draw 4 cards for 4. That is pretty freaking good. If you have a deck that has one of each of those, or maybe 2 of 7, 2 of 8, 1 of a 9, 1 of a 10, because at that point you're pushing your luck with that kind of stuff. You're gonna get some bad draws, and because of that specifically, I lowered the ranking on this card, because if it just said draw 4, it would be insane, and I'd probably rank it first or second, you know. But since you have to load your deck up with these super high cost minions, I'm taking some points off of it, but it's still a very powerful card. As a 1 in your deck, I think it's pretty good. Next we got Legendary Rogue. 5 mana, 4/2, battle cry. Discover a death rattle minion, also gain its death rattle. That's pretty strong. So this is a 5 mana, 4/2 that draws you a card. You get the best of 3 cards you discover, and you get the best of those 3 death rattle cards again on top of this card. So I think this card's pretty strong. It only has 2 life, but at the same time, you already drew a card off of it, and you're getting a death rattle. Pretty nice indeed. Next we have Paladin class card. 2 mana, 1/2, Divine Shield, Lifesteal. Your healing is double. I have been looking at these Paladin cards, and it looks like they're trying to bring Paladin control back into the game. And because of that, you're gonna need some heals for those fights against the aggro decks, and this is a pretty nice card by itself. It is a Divine Shield Lifestealer that heals you 2 every time it gets hit. Since it has Divine Shield, it's going to take 1 hit, that's 2 life, another hit to kill itself off, that's 4 life, 2 mana, 4 life, did 2 damage to something. That's pretty nice, but you can combo with some other stuff and get double that life, so that's pretty nice. And also, if you really are in a pinch and need the life now, where is this? Here we go. Sorry, I put it in bam, here we go. It combos with this other Paladin card that just came out. 2 mana, draw 2, 1, attack minions from your deck. So you can throw these Crystallology cards in there, and you only need this 1 legendary here. And you're going to be able to find it in your control deck, because you're probably going to put 1 of these in here, so it's like having 2, or maybe you'll even put 2 of those draw cards in your deck, because of things like whatever, I can't remember. It's bad than a brain freeze here, but there's some taunts that don't have 1 attack, and you could be putting those in your deck, so you're going to be able to find this card pretty easy because of this. It's like having 2 or 3 in your deck. Very nice, very handy. Next I have up here Necrium Blade. When I first saw this card, I was like, 5 mana. Man, that is crazy. I don't want to play this in my deck. 5 mana is too expensive for what this does. Trigger friendly minions death rattle twice. Then I started looking around. It's like, what can make this good? Because 5 mana is very expensive. So then you can prep this out, and it'll cost you prep out with a card, and then 2 mana. And then you can get this off for only 2 mana while you're playing another death rattle card. And the best I come up with in standard for Rogue, because it's a Rogue card, is Corpse Flower. I really like Corpse Flower. It's kind of old, so I'll probably be rotating here pretty shortly in another expansion. But death rattle, go dormant, play 4 cards in a turn, revive this minion. So you can play Flower on the board and you're not really worrying about it, and then eventually you can play this Vial on it, trigger it twice, and get 2 more flowers on the field. That's 3 flowers. That's a lot of power that never goes away unless they start silencing them, and you could just start throwing random junk at them every turn, withdrawing a whole bunch of cards in your deck. This is a pretty powerful effect, so you can also do it with Sylvanas in Wild. You can get 2 mind controls while still having your Sylvanas. Very strong. Next we have Dream Petal Floor, 7 mana, 4/4. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of 1 random minion in your hand by 7. This is a very powerful, very powerful combo card for Druid. You can have some Malygos combos. Even though you're paying for this 7 mana, it's like getting it for free, and it's better because once you do this, you don't care if this dies. Who cares? All you're doing is setting up for combos. And if you can lower the cost of Malygos by 7, wow. Seriously, that's crazy. I think this card's gonna see a lot of play in Druid combo decks for sure. You don't even have to care about it, the fact that it's a 4/4 for 7. Who cares? Druid is already going out of its way to use that legendary weapon that you have to hit something like 4 or 5 turns in a row just to break the weapon so you can get all your mana back. This is kind of the same thing if you lower the cost of Malygos, so very nice. Next we got Storm Chaser. 4 mana, 3/4 elemental, shaman card. Battle cry, draw a spell from your deck that costs 5 or more. This is a pretty good card here. It's got good stats on it for 4 mana. Not great, but not, you know, they're not bad. Drawing a card, I think, is worth it. But let's check it out here. What we got? Volcano, and this is the exact card I was thinking of. When you're playing a control deck, you want to have access to your board clears. And this card is a way for you to have access to your Volcano with a body on it. Very nice. I think this card will see play in a lot of Shaman control. I wouldn't be too surprised to see it in Shudderwalk, just because that deck is just a bunch of garbage anyways. And you lose the game by not taking care of the board. So you want access to your Volcanoes when you need access to them, and this card allows you to have another copy of it in your deck, per se. Next, I have another very strong card, and this is another reason I think the Paladin is being thrown into control again. 5 mana, set the attack and health of all minions to 1. So it's a combo card that Paladin already has. Equality plus Consecration. This is basically the same thing, except it doesn't kill their minions, which may even be better sometimes. Sometimes you might just want to have a bunch of useless crap on their board so they can't play anything better. More than likely you want to wipe it out, but this is just another way to basically board clear their side of the board. As a control deck, you want access to this. I think it's going to be in every Paladin control deck if that archetype exists. I think it will. So there you have it. Next, we have what I think is going to be a card I'm going to be playing a lot of. Mecha'thun. Wow. 10 mana, 10/10 mech, Death Rattle. If you have no cards in your deck, hand, and battlefield, destroy the enemy hero. So this is very crazy. You might be thinking, like, what the heck is that ever going to happen? Well, if you know, there's a deck out there that might not be that popular, but it was pretty popular an expansion ago, called Dead Man's Hand Warrior. And mostly all that deck did was cycle. Cycle, 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 bam. Kill you because you just can't keep up with them. But you can, instead of doing that forever, you can just draw your cards, toss this back in your hand or whatever with a dead man's hand, or you don't even have to play dead man's hand. So, you know, you probably don't want to play dead man's hand in this deck. Just the fact that you're cycling through your deck like crazy, and then throw this down and you win. But I'm also thinking of another card here, and I think this card, when I first saw it, was terrible. I'm not sure if I still have the picture of it. I screwed up here and didn't remember to get the picture. So hold on a second while I just tell you the name. Myra's Unstable Element. It's the rogue legendary for this expansion, 5 mana. And what it does, draw the rest of your deck. It's a rogue. So that takes care of you have no more cards in your deck, because this rogue legendary draws them all for you. Rogue also has a bunch of useless cards that you can easily get rid of because it costs nothing. So you can yank them out of your hand really fast, and then you don't have, all you have to do is worry about not having a battlefield and you can win. So really, this is like turn 10 for rogue. You could win the game the next turn if you set it up right. Or yeah, or on turn 10 you could win the game if you set it up right with rogue. So this is, in my opinion, it's going to be something I'm going to be testing. I think it'll see some combo play, at least at the beginning. I think this could be a very strong deck with that rogue card. And in my opinion, that's the only way that rogue card's going to see any play. Last but not least, this is, in my opinion, the best card that I've seen released out of these. 1 mana, Warlock card. Draw 3 cards. At the end of your turn, discard them. Last part might not sound good to you, but Warlock does benefit from discarding cards. But at the same time, you don't have to care about that to have this card be insane. At the beginning of the game, this card's obviously not good because you don't get to keep those cards. So, let's say you have some kind of deck. If you're playing aggro, you're running out of cards. Turn 5, you have no cards left. Then you just draw 3, and odds are you're playing aggro, most of your creatures are cheap. Bam, you just throw them all down there because this only costs you 1 mana to play. So you still have 4 more mana to lay those cards down. Or at the end of the game, if you're playing a control deck, who cares? You just draw 3 cards and you can use them then. You have 10 mana. You might not use them in the control deck, whatever. But don't forget, Warlock has a legendary quest that needs ways to discard cards. And that quest is actually very powerful if you can play enough good cards that discard cards. Right now we don't see much play of it, but this card by itself might make it so. Even if that quest isn't part of this deck, I think this card will see play in every Warlock deck, period. And that's all the cards that we have to show today, so see you later.